All right, so have you ever, like, been eating or something, and then suddenly you notice your roof of your mouth is itchy? It's so weird, right? Like, what even is that? So naturally, I had to find out, and well, it turns out there are a bunch of different reasons why that might happen.
Hmm.
And luckily, I've got expert speaker here with us today to break it all down. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the obvious, I guess. Allergies. Got to be a big one, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're probably the most common culprit when it comes to an itchy mouth.
And I'm guessing it's not always as simple as, like, springtime sniffles and sneezes.
Right. You've also got those sneaky food allergies that can really catch you off guard.
Yeah, like that feeling when you bite into an apple and suddenly your throat feels all tingly. What's the deal with that anyway?
Well, that's usually a sign of something called oral allergy syndrome.
Oral allergy syndrome.
Yeah, it's basically your immune system getting a little confused.
Confused.
Yeah, so certain fruits and veggies contain proteins that are actually really similar to the proteins found in pollen.
Oh, so your body thinks it's being attacked by pollen, but it's really just an innocent apple.
Exactly.
And that's what causes that itchy mouth reaction.
You got it.
Wild. Okay, so it sounds like we need to unpack this whole pollen imposter situation a little further. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Okay, so we've tackled those sneaky food allergies that are disguised as pollen imposters. But what about those times when the culprit is a little less botanical?
That's where things get really interesting. Let's talk about a condition called oral thrush, which, despite its somewhat charming name, is actually a fungal infection.
Oral thrush. That sounds a little too close to something you'd find in a fairy tale forest, and not the friendly kind.
You're not wrong. It's caused by an overgrowth of a type of yeast called Candida. Now, here's the thing. Candida is a normal resident of our mouths, usually hanging out in small, harmless numbers, but when it gets a chance to multiply unchecked, that's when the trouble starts.
So it's like
They are, in the fight against bacteria. But think of it like this. Your mouth is a delicate ecosystem with good and bad microbes trying to maintain a balance. Antibiotics can sometimes wipe out the good bacteria, giving Candida the opportunity to take over. It's all about maintaining that microbial harmony.
wow, I never realized my mouth was such a happening place.
So if you do find yourself with a case of oral thrush, what's the game plan? Is it back to the medicine cabinet?
Definitely one for your doctor to weigh in on. They might prescribe antifungal medications to get things back in check. But the good news is, with proper treatment, oral thrush is usually manageable.
That's reassuring. But let's be honest, not every itchy mouth is a sign of something so thrilling. Sometimes it's just your body's way of saying, hey, pay attention. Like when you've got a common cold brewing. Absolutely. Think about it. A stuffy nose, that scratchy throat, it's all connected. When your upper respiratory system is inflamed, it can trigger that itchy sensation in your mouth too.
So it's not just a coincidence. It's all part of the same symphony of sniffles.
Precisely. And speaking of unpleasant sensations, we can't forget about our old friend, the cold sore.
Oh, those pesky blisters. I always forget they can wreak havoc beyond just the lip area.
Right. Caused by the herpes simplex virus, cold sores can sometimes bring along some unwelcome itchiness on the roof of your mouth, too.
It's like they're trying to make their presence known everywhere they can, huh?
Something like that. And while we're on the topic of things that can make us feel less than stellar, we've got to talk about when an itchy mouth might be a sign of something more serious.
Okay, so we've covered the common culprits, the fungal fiascos, and even those pesky cold sores. But when should an itchy mouth send us running for the doctor? Not just the nearest tube of anti-itch cream.
That's a crucial question because while most itchy mouths are nothing to panic about, there are some instances where it can be a sign of something more serious.
Like what? Give me the lowdown on those red flags.
Well, one of the big ones is a severe allergic reaction, also known as anaphylaxis.
Anaphylaxis. Yeah. That sounds pretty intense. What exactly happens during an allergic reaction like that?
Your body essentially goes into overdrive. It's like your immune system hits the panic button, flooding your system with chemicals that cause a whole cascade of symptoms.
And I'm guessing an itchy mouth is just the tip of the iceberg?
Exactly. You might also experience difficulty breathing, swelling of the throat and tongue, hives, dizziness, nausea, a drop in blood pressure. It can escalate quickly.
Wow, okay. That's definitely not something to mess around with.
Absolutely not. If you ever suspect anaphylaxis, it's crucial to seek immediate medical attention.
So knowing your triggers and listening to your body is essential. But what about those of us who reach for a more DIY approach? Are there any home remedies that can offer some relief from that annoying itch?
You know there are. Sometimes the simplest solutions can be surprisingly effective. Gargle it with warm salt water, for example, can work wonders. The salt helps to reduce inflammation and flush away irritants.
Oh yeah, saltwater gargles, a classic for a reason. And I've heard honey can be soothing too.
It's true. Honey has natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, so it can help to calm irritation and promote healing. Plus, it just tastes good. Another trick is to suck on an ice cube. The cold can help to numb the area and reduce swelling.
I love how these remedies are like little hacks for your body. Simple, yet effective.
Exactly. Though it's important to remember that while these remedies can provide temporary relief, they're not a substitute for proper medical advice if your symptoms persist or worsen.
Makes sense. Always better to err on the side of caution. Well, we've certainly explored a lot today, haven't we? From pollen imposters to fungal fiascos, it's amazing how such a seemingly simple thing as an itchy mouth can be a window into so many different aspects of our health.
It really is. It reminds us that our bodies are constantly communicating with us, often in subtle ways. Paying attention to those signals can provide valuable insights into our overall well-being.
That's a great takeaway.
Yeah.
So next time you feel that telltale tickle on the roof of your mouth, remember, it might be more than just an itch. It could be your body's way of sending you a message. A huge thanks to expert speaker for joining me today on this fascinating deep dive into the world of itchy mouths. Until next time, stay curious and remember to listen to what your body is telling you.